Hello, I'm Dr. Harley Farmer, and this video relates to Chapter 4 in my book, What is Eczema? How to End the Misery Quickly. Now, Chapter 4 is titled Conspiracies, and I see a lot of conspiracies out there in the eczema field. The one that really comes to mind, and I hear frequently, is that the companies who are providing products to keep eczema going are actually doing it to harm the children. Now, I know people who run some of these companies, and I also know that as far as they're concerned, their role is to service the majority. Now, 90% of people do not have eczema. So therefore, these companies, in actual fact, are not that interested in the minority, the 10% who do. Some of the people who with eczema like their products, some hate their products. But in actual fact, I'd like people to start considering that the companies are not out to cause eczema, and therefore I don't put too much credence on this particular conspiracy. The second one is that we're all too clean. Now, this is the hygiene hypothesis, and as an organic gardener myself, I actually have some association with the hygiene hypothesis. You can be too clean. But one of the things I'll say from our experience is that I make hygiene products. Now, my introduction to eczema was when parents started using our hygiene products on their children and the eczema disappeared. That was the part I had to explain. That's the part we worked on. But the point is, eczema ended with hygiene products. So this is another conspiracy that I think we can put to bed for a little while. A third one that's becoming topical is genetic factors. Now, we have a lot of new tests which allow us to see whether a child has a chromosomal abnormality, whether there's a genetic defect. It's becoming very, very useful. But the cautionary note that I put in is that we can see what genetic differences a child has now, or all the children with eczema have now, but in a number of years, 80% of those children will have grown out of eczema. They'll still have whatever genetic defects we chose to give them sometime earlier. Then we'll have a bit of an intrigue as to whether those genetic differences in actual fact had anything to do with the eczema. I'm strongly of the view that they won't. Now, number 4 as a conspiracy is one I want to spend a bit of time on because it's the crux of where we formed the Eczema program. What I want you to do is consider the knee of a child who has really bad eczema. So what we've got is, this is a child's knee, and on the back here you've got horrible moist red eczema. The immune system really has gone over the top. You have to put steroids on that because that's what we do. It's moist, so you want to keep it moist. You put the moisturizers on, that's what we do. So that's what we do to manage eczema because the immune system has gone wrong. So just keep that in your mind for a little while, but then move your thoughts to the front of the knee, where the kneecap is. What happens if that same child grazes its knee? You then have an area of skin that is broken, is red, inflamed, oozing, and what do? We wait for it to dry out, scab over, and new skin will come through, all within a matter of weeks. So that's quite obvious that there was nothing wrong with the immune system on the front of the knee, which actually means there was nothing wrong with the immune system on the back of the knee. All that intense inflammation is a very, very important and useful clue to say that the immune system is desperately trying to protect the child against whatever we're putting on, the treatments. That's the indicator. If you apply steroids or anything else to dampen down that immune reaction, you're actually leaving the child unprotected. You're leaving the child in harm. And in medicine, we claim that we want to do no harm. But when you actually ignore the clue, in other words, the chemicals are damaging the child, you've got a choice. You can continue to ignore and dampen down the immune reaction, or you can say, no, this is actually really quite important. The immune reaction is a good thing. It's trying to defend the child. Why don't we get rid of the factor that is causing the immune reaction? That's the Eczema program. So what I'd like to suggest is that the conspiracies are good. They allow people to talk. We can have conversations, and dialogue is always good. But wouldn't it be fantastic if we could gather all the energy, all the resources that go into these conspiracies and group them and use them as a resource to end eczema? Then we have a terribly important global resource That is what I'm wanting to do with the eczema program. So thank you again, and there's a video following this for chapter 5. Thank you.